So again, on behalf of you, I welcome Mr. Prasanna Vithanage. I had been to his lectures and classes, which I myself organized in Chennai a few times. In fact, the one thing I always admire about his class session is it would be so deep. At the same time, it would be very quietly, piercing. He has his own unique style of talking about things that always reflects not only in his speech, also in his films and other things he said before he himself aware of it. In fact, once I told him, you look like a Buddha and monk. He very badly reacted to it. You know how bad the Buddhist monks in Sri Lanka are? Please don't brand me a Buddhist monk. He said it. I remember, which happened 7 years back. Now, we all have seen the film yesterday. I would like to start off with maybe at a point we can stop, we'll keep the floor open for them to ask. The title of the film, Paradise, I was wondering because I remember at least two other films with the same title. You may remember Aljit Seethal, the Austrian filmmaker. He made a trilogy titled Paradise Hope, Paradise Faith, Paradise Love. My God, very mind-boggling films there. But all those three films, in a way, talk about the hellish consequences the characters face. Other film recently, Roman Polanski made his last film called Paradise. It's about the super rich people having a 2K, the New Year party 2000. What happens to all those super rich people? Again, every character gets into the hellish situation with lots of black comedy. Now, for this film, even before I saw the name, why this title Paradise, I'm sure you would have given a lot of thought before you title it. And can you say something about the title of the film?
First of all, thank you all for attending this session with me and Siva sir. I would like to...
Sorry, don't call me Siva sir, Siva.
Yeah, so, and I'd like to thank Progressive Writers Association for inviting me to screen the film for you and to participate in this session. So let's immediately go to a question. Paradise. Paradise means what? It is the most desired situation. It may be, Paradise, you may have seen several titles. Paradise referring to marriage. For instance, there's Hollywood film, Trouble in Paradise. So the paradise means marriage. Because marriages are made in heaven, they say. And then geopolitically, Lanka or Ceylon at the time was called paradise by many tourists because it was so green, like Kerala. So now it has been kind of a counter to what it describes, because now Sri Lanka, we underwent economic meltdown, complete catastrophe, and people were in the streets demanding gas, light, and essentials. So what happened to the paradise? So it was called paradise once, now it has become kind of a hell-like situation for the civilians. Now, when it comes to marriage also, I think the marriage only survives when there is love from both parties. Yeah. If one party decides more about commodities, more about upward mobile things, than love the other person, then there is trouble in paradise. So it refers to marriage, it refers to Sri Lanka, and it refers to the situation or the most desired situations or the situation the human beings dream of.
Okay, that reminds me now, after what happened in Wayanad recently, the tourism slogan of Kerala is God's own country.
Yeah.
My God. Now, I mean, if you make a film or a documentary with the title God's own country, I'm sure what's happening, like a fun we always used to say. Whereas, the Kashmir tourism slogan is God lives here. Okay. In fact, Kerala, though they call it God's own country, God doesn't live there. God gone somewhere else, like all good Malayalis. That's why, this kind of a parody and pun using certain terms is very interesting. Okay, now coming to the film again, where we thought of, we used the title, the anatomy of a film form. I've seen all your films. And this film, this is the first film I watched it in the theatre. Having paid money and bought a ticket with the audience, I watched this film. That way, it was a good experience. I was surprised. I knew you have been mastering the technique of arriving at a film form with the constraints of a budget. Sometimes the budget constraints, as a lover of film art, as a lover of cinema, as a lover of the film form of cinema, we do not let spoil the form that we want to imply or adapt in the film. But you very beautifully used your style, the way the film has been structured very beautifully. And I know that normally many producers will not tell the secret, what is the budget. Go to mainstream, not a single fellow will tell the truth. What is the budget of your film? Whereas Mr. Vithanage is so generous, without me asking, he said the budget of the film was 1.5 crores, which is nothing, less than 1% of many of our stars get for Tamil cinema. Now we all should understand that the budget got nothing to do with the final product of the film in one way. And here, when I read the synopsis of the film, the economy meltdown in 2021, then this marriage, the Mumbai living Malayali couple coming, all these things, the Tamil, so many things, my God, you would have thought, I'm going to get that. Subject inherently has its own kind of a grandeur to show it. Crisis, people struggle. But you beautifully succeeded in bringing out everything. What is the connection between the film structure, the form you arrived at, and the idea and the budget, the connection, all this?
Thank you. So, to make things to understand easily for you, I'll give a small example. I know that there may be, filmmakers here, short filmmakers, and people who are going to make films and who write, especially because it's conducted by Progressive Writers Association. So whatever I talk today, what I want is finally from this session is to inspire, not to talk about me. So I'll give you an example. So this is a glass water. Now, what is the form? So what is the form of the water? Form of the water has taken the shape of a glass. Okay. So in cinema, in script writing, the water becomes the content and this glass becomes the form or the structure. And it could be, if it was in a different container, let's say bronze, bronze container, it would have been look different. So what matters is how you structure the events into a form. But the form takes shape according to the content that you want to convey to the audience. So when it's come to paradise, we were, as a citizen of Sri Lanka, we were all charged in the sense, everybody, I think very few people were, let's say, were above the crisis. There are people, like any crisis, there will be people who will become more richer using the crisis. In the world it's happened. So in Sri Lanka also, later it happened, but during the crisis, everybody became equal. Even the rich people couldn't get gas. Even the rich people couldn't get, daily things. So, affected by all. And so it had a kind of, we were all charged in a sense. So we were all in the streets also against, against the government. So, after some times, as an artist, I thought, okay, people are agitating, people are in the streets, demanding the ouster of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. So, as an artist, what do I have to say? Okay, so the film that we saw earlier by Oliver Stone, so it's about the nuclear power, the need of the nuclear power, told to us by Oliver Stone, and Oliver Stone believes it. Correct? So here also, so I thought, what happened in Sri Lanka should come out of us in the form of a story. The story, I thought, so what really first thing is, how I look at what happened. I saw anarchy. I saw that the people who have been indifferent to the poverty in our country had to face it. We have been indifferent. When we see the poverty, we say, okay, now there won't be any class struggle, all this is gone, and we gone. But here, it boomed. And I thought it would be better if I take two people outside Sri Lanka who doesn't have anything to do with this crisis. But Indians are also indifferent. No? The middle class, especially what I have seen in Mumbai and other cities with my friends, because a lot of poverty around you and you are living without looking at that. Because you go carry on your daily, your work and the other things, without looking at. So that's, even we have kind of let's say, few people are conscious about it. Because you have your own, you are also in a struggle and you try to not to see it. So what will happen to this couple who are especially the husband who are indifferent to what's happening in this country and to his life, because he's also in a struggle. Because in this open economy, the market economy, the middle class, there are so many things to buy, so many things to acquire, but life is a struggle. So he's a person who thinks about, how to, he has been in the struggle. His projects have been rejected earlier. And he sees this project as the survive, it may be his paradise. Making a film, a teleseries about Squid Games. Squid Games is again, but it's about the class division and how it opens. So he's not conscious about it. He has seen it, but he sees it as a story of, class division, but he will not mirror it to himself. That's how we live. We see things, but we don't mirror it to ourselves. Or we don't look at it to ourselves. So now, the Sri Lanka in the past, years, I have seen we use the word complicity. Complicity means, especially when it comes to state, the Rajya, or in Tamil, government, Rajya, yeah, same, yeah. Complicity in wrongdoing by the government officials. When it's come to the ethnic minorities, violence against ethnic minorities, government also have been, they have complicity. They are also part of wrongdoings, but it's sealed. And officials who have been doing these wrong things, they have got impunity. They have been saved by the, let's say, law. People like the Sergeant Bandar. So this is kind of a symbol that about our system. And so all these things, how to, now your question is, so there are so many things. So how do you put it into one story? Yeah. When it's come to story, what matters is not how you structure it or how you, I shouldn't say structure, I like to use the word plot it. Most important thing is the characters in a story. Because each character, each human being here are completely different. But as human beings, we are similar, all of us are similar. Same time, when it's come to a situation, the way we behave may be completely different. So every catastrophe, let's say you were talking about Wayanad, so like a crisis, this kind of catastrophe crisis opens up. And because we have to face the situation, or either, it will reveal who we are, really, our real self will be revealed. So I thought that would be the, the launching pad, how the situation, how the crisis will open the characters. And the people, and they are differentiate, they get different shades, they become different to each other from the way they react to it. The husband and wife, Amrita and Kesav. So one wants to, he's upward mobile. He thinks now he wants to, when he gets money, he thinks now it's right time to start a family. That means they have postponed having a baby. For him it's power. Now he thinks the money will bring power. But he doesn't consult the wife. Now shall we? No. Now, so, and he thinks that will give, he has all the hopes he has, based on this project. And how in life, when our hopes and our aspirations are, based on something worldly matter, or the material matter, and it doesn't materialize, how we, go berserk. So that's what happens to him. And at the opposite to him, the girl or the lady wants to, understand things. Or she wants to get with more, not to think about it and move with the nature and all. But beginning is, she's also saying, she was, mocking the driver. So to bring out the character, when you are writing, we are bringing out the characters by working out every beat on a situation. So for do that, we write backstories for each character. Without a backstory, there won't be a character. So I thought of this about Amrita. When she was young, when she was in Mumbai, she may she may have dreamt of writing the best or the greatest Indian novel. She may have started, she may have written few screenplays, but nothing materialized. But she met this person and he became the great builder. And without even knowing, in these past 5 years, she's under his shade. And now she has become a blogger. So she doesn't have anything the way to express herself. And for the man, he has been trying, as I said earlier, so many things, it does not have work now. So now his all hopes are based on this. So for the Sergeant Bandar, I thought you may have seen his mom. That means he has gone under open heart surgery. And it's time to retire. And when he hears stories, he may have thought they are white people. Definitely. Then he's actually, they are Indians. So he's supposed to find. So he had to perform. Otherwise, the guy will talk to Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, and the High Commissioner will speak to his bosses. So all that is how the system works. So how each character behaves under that circumstances. So the basic, I'm not saying it's a theory, but I would like to say, give dignity and look at all the characters from their own points of view. As writers and our artists, our job is not to judge human beings. Our job is to understand the human beings. So then only you will understand the real self. If you are interested in just to bring out a story, or have a kind of a film that people will like, you can maybe most of things. At times many writers go to routine manner. But it will not open the human life. It will be, we call cliché-tic. It becomes cliché that we have seen them like this, so we go by this. So rather than going on, plotting the story, always I think it's a good idea to work on the characters, backstory, and each situation, how they behave. Famous French filmmaker Jean Renoir used the word ambivalence. Ambivalence means it's all of us have, it's reasons to behave like the manner that we are behaving. So find out that. Then we will understand the humanity. And again, about the one thing that what inspired most was a saying by Jiddu Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti has said in one of his writings that we can see ourselves really who we are in a relationship. How we behave in a relationship, not individually. So when you look at that relationship, we may not like the image or the mirror that holds to ourselves. But hold the mirror, because without true understanding about the human nature and understanding humans, there cannot be true love. Unless you understand yourself, the most important thing in life, that's one thing that all of you, the aspiring filmmakers, should know. That is, whatever, let's say, filmmakers, you may want to become someone like athlete or some very like successful filmmaker. That's fine. But same time, what you cannot deny or what you cannot hide from the audience is when you write, when you direct a film, it will open yourself. It's what matters is what you really think about life. What matters is what you really think as what what life is. So your values will be represented in the film. So the values that I am questioning in the film they are my concerns. That's not the producer's concern or the distributor's concern. So I told you, I'm telling you this because we need storytellers from everywhere from the world, especially Tamil Nadu, because I have seen a film called Pebbles, which I think one of the most original films. Yeah, and actually it's a brilliant film, and we feel that every character, what I told you now, it's there in that film. So it's I'm hoping there will be more filmmakers like that.
Okay, you just reminded Pebbles, so I'm reminded of Vinod Raj. In fact, I wanted to mention this. Vinod Raj is very keen to come over here to speak with you all for 5 minutes. For only one reason. His second film, Kotakali, is getting released on 23rd in theatres. Sir, I want to come and tell everyone, please, you all liked it. All who liked Pebbles, I want them to go to theatre and watch the film. At least from my part, I should do that for my producer. So he's going through it everywhere. Please release it. And he said that this is the most deserving crowd. He might drop in any time. That he said, I didn't check with him. Sir, I will be there. Don't worry, I will talk. More than you wanting me, I want to be there to talk to people. Okay, now the very interesting thing you said is the backstory of the character. Finally, the writer's skill comes the way you create the character. Because only you know his backstory. Like you said, only in a relationship you understand. That's why we men always not fear or think. We know only our wives know who we really are in one way. I'm not just off joking you. Because that's a kind of relationship you really show yourself who you are.
Yeah, let me add one thing. What Siva is telling that only wives knows about men. Yeah, they are right. Okay? But same time, when you have the pen with you, you can be open to yourself. The men could be open to themselves. When with the camera, they can be open to themselves. Because I have been married for 32 years. So, when I'm writing this, if I'm not truthful, if I'm not sincere as a husband, and if I don't look at myself, we cannot bring a character. So, it's, and when I talk with Roshan Matthews also, I said to him, Roshan, because Roshan initially had doubts about the character. Yeah. So I said, Roshan, it's most of the thing that this character do, we have most of these qualities. But only thing, we don't accept it. We don't, people will clap when he get killed, but most of the characters we have. So but the good actors, they are like, why actors are real, good actors are real artists. Like writers, they are good actors, reveal themselves. They are not, take a backward and say, no, I'm not going to do this film because the people will think I'm like this. We should think, like Marlon Brando and all these great actors, Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson, from USA I'm talking, and here also they are great actors who are not afraid to show that there's an ache beyond the skin. So that's also important.
Okay, yeah, the most powerful thing that was brought out in the film, I felt, was the characters, both the Roshan and the Darshana characters, the characters they play. After you said the backstory only, I understand. Maybe she would have tried to become a writer and became a famed writer. And this guy decides everything on behalf of others. You put it in one sentence, that one line, when she was writing a blog. Why don't you think of writing your novel that you left long ago? Instead of writing blogs, just the orders and moves away. And that was another. After you heard the backstory, when I recall that scene, wow, what a powerful scene that was. And mostly it will be useful to the want-to-be filmmakers who are here. When we deal with scenes that by nature we think is a crowd or a protest, oh, how am I going to do that? I don't have a kind of a budget to organize 500 people with placards shouting, multiple camera angles. But using the minimalistic method, the way you used the struggle is so beautiful. Very few shots and it brings the core of the thing. Even the children trying to serve Goa there were 3 shots. It brings out how to take that. First, so she's so happy and buys and the thing. The second time they don't, then she's not worrying. Third time they don't care about and the vehicle goes, the Land Rover goes. And how do you plan those shots? Have you taken them? It's a very technical question, very mundane issue. To organize the kids again in different locations on 3 different days, it's a cost. It's a production issue. But how you really manage those things? Like that, there are many wonderful, your own tricks, I would say, is there in the film.
Yeah, so I'm a filmmaker, but same time, still I'm a student of cinema. So these things have been done by great directors before me. So I'll give an example. You should study the cinema of Robert Bresson. Bresson was a French filmmaker. So his films are considered minimalist. What is the minimalist? Means is in poetry, we call it brevity, with image or metaphor. You say a lot of things. The words become metaphors for some, and it's not the face value that what matter. Beyond that, there is a meaning. Okay, and Bresson said, in cinema we are doing film theatre. For him, the cinema it's to have in a frame, you include a lot of details into one frame and you cut all the unnecessary details. For example, in Paradise, some of you may have disappointed that the end didn't have, kind of a swagger or the more elaboration of a Tamil movie. But it was intentional. What I wanted was the basic shots. The basic shots to tell the story and at the same time without breaking the beat of each character. So it's not for me to showcase the violence or make an operatic effect with the final climax. So it's the people, I don't have to remind it. So it's the minimalism means you speak with the essential, you use the essential and you use an image, but in that image there are a lot of things that will make you more imaginative. Now for you, Siva, for that image, the boy's story, let's say the meeting, they are trying to sell and then she has bought. Later we see that she has bought. We don't see the scene. Okay. So that's the power of the editing. So that's it. Her relationship with the village comes with these 3 shots. Second, the boys are following the vehicle, but they are not interested because they are going to the police station. Third, because these suspects are from the community and the boys doesn't want to associate with them. So the relationship is brought out with 3 scenes, and each scenes have only 6 to 7 shots. So it's the minimalism. And I think while using the minimalism, like there are maybe so many poets here, like you use the words, I would like to use the images. So, and I think we have talked about this quoting of Kurosawa, the Japanese filmmaker. Kurosawa said that, one journalist asked from Kurosawa, what is cinema? So Kurosawa said, it's very, it'll take a lot of time. It's a deeper thing that to talk about cinema. So I will use a small write-up written by a small child. The small child was grandson of a famous Japanese novelist. So the grandson he has written, the heading was "My Dog." So my dog, my dog sometimes is like he behaves like a cat, but sometimes he's innocent. He pretends that he's innocent as a deer, and so he has given a lot of. He has compared his dog to many other animals, and finally the child has written, but my dog more resembles to a dog because he's a dog. So Kurosawa says cinema has, it's associated with music, it's associated with literature, it associates with drama, painting, photography, but finally it's cinema. So what cinema? Cinema, he says, is like in music. If you listen to raga or a Western Hindustani ragadari sangeet or Western classic, how do they create rasa? By juxtaposing 2 notes. Actually, the word is not juxtaposing, but it's with 2 notes. With 2 notes, when you are, we call it sanyojan. And since cinema means you create rasa by juxtaposing 2 shots. In cinema, the way of cinema lies in the way you juxtapose the shot. It's by the editing, the images, you tell a story. So, if I say it in a nutshell, when you write screenplays, always think in images, not with the dialogue, not with the plotting, but what comes the first? What is the first image that audience is going to see, and what is the next image? And how you juxtaposing, you tell the story. How you create tension by editing these 2 shots.
Yeah, you said it's a wonderful editing. And also the minimalistic style comes in the level of writing. Tell me whether I'm right or wrong. When you write a scene, there's always a mantra. The tagline for writing a scene is, you enter the scene as late as possible and exit as quick as possible. Whereas the films that are so boring are, you enter before they're invited, before others arrive, and around the matter is over, you stay there. Nobody can stand. Whereas in this film, every scene is a classic example of how to write a precise scene. Even the 3, like you mentioned, that all the kids, but we thought, if any student writes, okay, hey, you ask a cashier, hey, give me some 20 rupees, buys everyone, then that scene loses the power and the meaning. Whereas she is trying to take the photograph. With a click, then she enters the house. We wondered whether she bought it or not, but when she entered, she has a bunch of the thing. I mean, this is how you think of a precise entry as late as possible and exit.
Yeah.
This is also that this comes at the level of many masters do that. When you watch a Roy's apostology, like in the US, they said those days, what Roy taught us is to make a great film, you don't need money. This is what we learn from apostology. It says that's still what, with all the modern gadgets and technology, how we write the scene. That I felt personally, even when I wrote my note, really reached the next level of creating the scenes so precise, so beautifully.
But all this is nothing new. It's, about 4,000 years ago, Aristotle, when he said there is, which all these script gurus use, is told by Aristotle. And Bhartamuni said all this, 1,000 years ago. It's unfortunately the cinema that in our USA or India, they have forgotten, because our cinema is more not go by the, how could I say, the essence. It's because they don't, but it's what Aristotle said is still true. There will be a setup, there will be a beginning, the conflict, and the ending. You may, use it differently, or you can completely challenge it by anti-plot, or you can write a play like Samuel Beckett did, Godot, Waiting for Godot, with nothing happens. But basically, it's there. And when you write a story, you have to treat it as the same way. There will be a beginning, as you said, there will be a middle, and there will be an end. So the most important thing, according to the script professor of UCLA, I think it's Jeff Walters. What he said is, most important thing in a film is finding your beginning and end. It will define the story, and it applies to the scene. Beginning and end of the scene.
Some of the dramatic influence, I asked, how did you arrive at that when they come to the hospital, the suspect thief is almost about to die, and when the Roshan character enters, you see a woman crying and coming and sees, the kind of backdrop you create, the drama that you create, because in the reality there was not much of a drama, but the backdrop, the atmosphere you created, the drama very beautifully. Did you put it in the writing itself, or you just thought of that?
Most of the thing that you saw in the film is writing. But same time, when you work on a film, when you make a short film, the best motto is, which I follow by Orson Welles. He said, filmmaking is how you use the accidents. How you use what's happening here. If you go out there, if there's maybe a crow in that rooftop, you may use it. It's how you preside over accidents. But regarding this film, there are so many things that we work with the nature. But those things, because the situation that you mentioned, it was in the script, because it was there to bring out his inability. So next time, he's blabbering and he's talking, why the hell we came here? So he has forgotten the reason, what he said. So why the reason he was here. So because when we become inactive, because of we are unable to react, we are unable to do something to what happened, in how the man behaves. So bring out that it was in the script.
And the one character that what's his name, that Sri Lankan police officer, the way he begins with the Roshan character, somehow I felt when I watched it yesterday, He's such an officer, the way he behaves with other local people is different. Why with him? Why? Because kind of an underdog. That characteristic was little puzzling yesterday when I watched it.
Yes, because you have
Huh?
given us $2 billion. India gave a loan to Sri Lanka $2 billion. No, and everybody, the fuel was coming from India, the essential was coming from India, and every people, the Sri Lankan citizen, if not for India, we have not survived. So that mentality is there. That's the politics of it. So it's and when he said, remember that he said that it's as a threat also that he also Keshav knew it. He said, that's why he said, I will call in High Commissioner if you don't find goods, and he will call your bosses. So that connection, that's the way that's why he behaves like that. Many people at that time behave like that because it's without the help that we have now. Even the President of Sri Lanka recently admitted it. I'm not saying that he has not talked, but admitted it.
Well, the note I sent after I saw the film first time, I personally felt it's Chabrolesque. He also said, I was surprised, you said, yes, it is Chabrolesque. Claude Chabrol is a French filmmaker who's part of the New Wave team. And he makes films this kind of a hidden tension, drama in the relationship. It was so good, a kind of a chamber one with few characters. Did you think of that kind of a style?
If you, in cinema, there's always, before us, there have been 1,000 filmmakers who have made films. If you look at, Scorsese, if you look at, not only his films, but the way he talks, and he's part of the film culture, that world film culture. And what you are doing here, Progressive Writers Union, you always why? You are opening the culture, world film culture to the audience. That's very important because we are part of it. So, to understand how the other filmmakers, you don't have to copy, but but always when you find how the other filmmakers have done, as you said, they bring out the politics of the person. That's what in one line. And in the macabre, in the kind of a violent situation. So without knowing, if I did, I would have thought I would am the one who did it first. But when you know, when you as writers, when you read Dostoevsky or Chekhov or Tolstoy or Latin American writers, you know that you are part of that world and how they have opened up the humanity. So that's very important, I think, to admit that. That's why I admit it. And even not only that, even Hitchcock. It's because Hitchcock, the main when it's come to writing, the inspiration comes from Hitchcock. Hitchcock used a word called MacGuffin. What is MacGuffin? MacGuffin is something that you give to the audience. They will be now, let's say in one of his films, Notorious. It's so after the Second World War, some SS or the Nazi generals, they are gathering in Brazil, and there is the news is that they are in search of uranium. So the audience is waiting till the hero goes and finds this uranium. But the film is not about that. So here, Ramayana, search for this Ramayana towards the MacGuffin. MacGuffin you give, so the audience is waiting that they are going for the searching these Ramayana sites. But in the modern world, neither husband nor wife doesn't believe all that. And they are moving to their phones, mobile phones. Because today, more than enjoying the sites, people would like to say that we were there and post it on their social media. So that's a well. So you use that thing, McGuffin, and you bring out while the audience is waiting. That's the hook. It's like a bait, and then the goods become the bait. The lost, whether they will find the lost good or not. But at the end, the goods are not found. But the audience may find something more than goods about humanity. So that's the call McGuffin. It's the word was comes with Hitchcock invented that word.
So, it makes audience suspect on something or someone.
Yeah.
Actually, someone who got nothing to do with what really happened. That he used it for his style, that suspenseful drama. And you mentioned the term ambivalence. There's another very famous term all great filmmakers use in filmmaking is the ambiguity. Don't be sure of anything. You always have Fisher eyes, black and white character. Here, the Tamil estate workers, they arrest. According to you, are they the real people who have stolen the thing? No, that's not really part of the thing, but I'm asking you as a filmmaker, because finally you have to stage everything in front of camera, which is real. So in that sense, what exactly did you do? I mean, these three may not be the real thing. Or the shot where all they covered their faces, they jumped, they all watch it. Three actors you used. It's a very crisis. They're three different, not the same three people. Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you that.
No, it's very clear. Siva, because it's now I will go theoretical perspective and the practical again. So I know that there are a lot of Marxists here, and I go with the Marxist perspective. I agree with because it's, let's say, a film art form is a subjective. We are trying to understand the world, struggle with the world that we are living in a subjective method. But finally, it should bring out objective truth about you don't like. So in this film, that's why I am telling you this is, I am not saying there is no objective truth. I am not saying truth cannot be found or truth cannot be seen, truth is not understandable, it is something elusive. No. Now comes the answer to your question. Because the three suspects, you have seen they enter police without any guilt, and they never admit. Actually, it was as Amrita says, he may have not in his good senses. He has got the signature. That's how because I must say, 25 suspects have died in under police custody in Sri Lanka recently. 25.
Oh.
So this is, it's, we know that, Amrita feels it, but Keshav doesn't want to understand. And remember the scene where, because the guy works at the home, bungalow, he's from the community, and he says, you aiming the gun to the police officer, sergeant, he says, on falsely, you demanded this 3 youth, and one of them have died, and you are going to do the same to me. So that means the filmmaker says that they are not they are only suspects. And at the end of the titles you may have seen, you may notice there are suspects and thieves. So they were part of this. So it's so that why I want to point out that because otherwise, if I made the film like whether they are the suspects or not, I am against the theoretical position of objective truth, which I am not. I believe that there is objective truth. What is objective truth? that if I am doing this from my subjective point of view, and I come to Puducherry, I mean 100 miles away from Sri Lanka, and it touches you, and if you feel there's some truth in it, it makes the objective truth. So it's not only my truth, it's not only the way I see it, but you also feel there's a certain truth about it, about life. That's how I think arts bind people. Arts bind completely people completely different from their language or the culture.
Okay, the last question before I open the floor to you. Many mention, I'm sure the questions will come on that, what they're really impressed or surprised or is the layers, number of layers is used in the film. I mean, what they meant layers is, apart from the talking Ramayana, Sita, Ravana, the deer, that shot, and the way the very beginning, she takes the shoot gun, the hunting gun, and looks at it, sees it, he says, hey, watch out, careful, Suchiko. Then every time that the actor, when she handles it, she just throws a glance at it. Very meaningful glance. Be careful, she doesn't, with a smile, she throws a very beautiful glance. I mean, like that, there are lot of very fine layers of that. How did you work out that? I'm not going to ask the meaning of those layers. That audience have to infer on the road, but still I'm asking.
So, I'd like to tell the audience, so don't you agree that life is full of layers? It's not one layer. So you have to bring that out when you write. When you write short stories, novels, you have to bring that. So it's your job. But I would like to add one more thing there, that you need the good actors all the time. You need it comes from the writing first, but good actors add lot of, without even saying, even without director asking, to look into your life and bring out those things. Good actors give a lot of from their life. They bring out to the scene. And with the move, and I never write, I always tell the aspiring writers, never write adjectives. Let's say in a script, if you write, she looks at him angrily. Okay? So angrily is an adjective. But I would write, she looks at him. It's up to Darshana to do by acting how she's going to look at him. Because otherwise, now if a director says to the Darshana, okay, look at him angrily, okay, it's and there is only one way. So that you have to open the actors to bring out a lot of layers, and they will, if you don't trample that, they will bring out. And you need good editors also to, while editing, to find out the best of the actors and keep it, and if there is any false note, take it away. So I have been worked with the same film editor for 27 years, Mr Prasanna. So we are friends, and we are actually enjoying the process, the editing process, because he will look, he doesn't understand Sinhala, the language, but we have edited so many films together. So it's a good thing. He doesn't understand language. Sometimes I translate, but he goes by one thing. Look of the eyes, eye move. The actors, the way they speak with their eyes, good actors speak with their eyes and the body movement. So the edit is decided by the cut. The cut is decided by the eye movement. So those things come from that comes the layers. So I am grateful to those actors. The great actors which I have worked, and especially in this film, Roshan Matthew and Darshana Rajan.
Excellent performance, sir. Okay. Thank you, Prasannaji, and for all the time we spent. Now, we have got another 15, 17 minutes for you to, original question. Whoever wants to ask question, those who have seen the film yesterday, first raise your hand, then the mic will come to you, then ask the question. Be as precise as possible without commenting at a length and other things.
Hello, sir. Valan here. So, this is about your perspective, not just about the movie. I have seen both your films, With You, Without You, and The Paradise. In both the movie, I could feel an empathy towards Tamil people, Sri Lankan Tamil people. So, how that perspective, could you tell me about that? As an audience, I could feel the empathy towards them in the movie, in both the movie.
Okay. I will give an honest answer. First of all, I should say I'm very sorry that I'm unable to answer that question in Tamil. Okay. Why? Because I have been coming to Chennai for 30 years now. Okay. But all my friends, Srikar Prasad, while we were working, we were talking in English and I didn't learn Tamil. Okay. Now the political question. Okay, answer to that. Sri Lanka Tamil issue, because I have been very vocal about not only those two films. If you have seen Death on a Full Moon Day and August Sun, and we have, myself and some filmmakers have been branded as. Not protagonist is a better thing, but it's more than that, no? More than that. So we are very proud of that. So that label, why? Because when I was about in 1983, I lived in about 17 miles away from Colombo, and I have seen the violence leashed by Sinhalese hooligans on Tamils, and how people became, homeless and stateless also. Before that, we were very, we had a concern about, because even the left parties, unfortunately left parties in Sri Lanka betrayed the Tamil cause when they joined coalition governments. Otherwise, let's say, leaders like Dr. Kallinadi Silla from Lanka Samsamaj Party, they believe that the policies that been adopted by southern Sinhalese politicians, especially the language issue, Sinhala only language, and in 1950s, he said that if you adopt this policy of Sinhala only, making Sinhala the official language, you can have one language and there will be two countries. So he predicted that. It's in 1950s. And unfortunately, after we received independence, after few months after you received in August, we received in 14 February. So Sri Lankan Tamil politicians and Sinhalese politicians, they were unable to come to terms how to share the power. And Sinhalese politicians have given false hopes to the Tamil politicians. And there was Satyagraha, like Gandhian movement was there, and the 50-50 equal rights, and nothing was delivered. So which led to a violent struggle, which against the Tamil people, then the war against the Tamil people. So we have seen it. And so as a human being, when I see some injustice, if I am unable to if I am unable to rectify it, at least as an artist, I can express it. And I have been expressing it. So that's it's not sympathy is not the correct word. It's sorry, you just used empathy. Yes, it's yeah, you are correct. Empathizing with the Tamilians and always Marxists should know that always Marxists, when it's come to women and minorities, it's very important whether you empathize with women, because women have been marginalized in society and minorities have been marginalized in societies. So your view on them makes you what kind of a man you are.
It was nice watching the film. So the first time I saw yesterday, I have an appreciation. Most of the scenes are appreciative. One about the unfolding of the character of Amrita, about the deer she will be first watching when it was going to be hunted. She doesn't want it to be hunted. Next time when she accidentally sees the deer and she will she will perceive that it is showing it is alive. That one thing, and it to the where they are saying the deer will be shown. And I could see the expression of the deer also. I want to know the meaning, but still I was appreciative of that scene. Second one, I want to ask about whether it was intended the names like Shri, Andrew and Iqbal, one thing, and why were they knocking up with Keshav? They're having the local Arak scene, no? He comes for scold Iqbal, but after seeing them, he changes his mind and they'll be making knocking about that scene. I could not. What was that?
Yeah, thank you, madam. So you know, Keshav means Krishna, no? Yeah, okay, that's one. So, first thing about deer. So the deer, many people ask me whether because it's Ramayana connection, the deer, I added the deer. Geographically also, the Sambadiyas are available in that area. So, in the western area, it's a forest reserve. So what I thought, now always don't trust what I say. What matters is you perceive it. Because writers and directors can tell anything. So but I can say what I intend by that scene, what my intention was. So she is against, as you said, the killing, because she, according to her words, too beautiful to be killed. And then at the dining table, she hears a gunshot. So she assumes maybe the deer got killed. And so she writes on her blog, "Will I see you again? Will I see you again? I saw something majestic. I don't know whether I'll see you again." So, it's like the same thing that I told you about this earlier, when I was answering this madam's question. She was not able to do anything. So she feels helpless. And that's right. And actually, husband mocks by saying at the end, "Oh dear." So he used the word "oh dear," not D-E-A-R dear, D-E-E-R dear, indicating, "Oh, your friend got killed now." So that's part of his cruelty. So I don't know whether you admit that sometimes men could be cruel when it comes to the women's emotions. Okay. So the Shri. So when his name is maybe Sri Pavan or something, but Shri, because when he says like Namaskar, Shri, she thinks he's greeting. Then says, "Madam, my name is Shri." And actually, because you said that I was mocking Kesar. What happened was, he thought that this someone is trying to get attention in the night singing. But he finds out that it's not his voice actually, as Andrew says, sir, it was my request. And now he has to put a good face. When men has to, put a good face, what do? They try to mingle with that people. So when he tries to mingle with that people, he is the Sri Lankan Arak is very strong. It's stronger than Tasman. Tasman, sorry. I don't know whether I gave the answers, so those are my answers. Thank you.
Hi sir, I'm Asif. I have two doubts, sir. One is, what was your mindset while you were making this film? And if you were the Tamilan in the film, what would have you done?
Sorry, I don't.
Sir, sir, if what was your mindset if while you were making this film, your mindset while making this film, and what would have you done if you were in the Tamil man's place?
Yeah, good question. I'll answer. So, now, I'm a male, okay? And when I'm writing about a female, I have to understand that. I cannot go and ask a female how to write the character of a female. So you have to, beyond your maleness, you have to understand that how a female would behave in that situation. Think about Shakespeare. Shakespeare was able to understand not only Romeo, but Juliet also. So when I'm a singleist, but can I see beyond the singleist as a human being to understand the Tamil? So that in the upcountry, they are the most deprived community. Bala made a film, Pardeshi. So they have become victims, not victims because we use the word guinea pigs. For everything, something gets lost, they will be taken into police custody. So that's the situation. So if I thought it as a singleist, if I'm unable, if my nationality holds up me to understand the Tamil, then there's an issue. So that's why, again, I like to quote Krishnamurti, that he said all the nationalism is the starting point of violence. All the nationalism, whatever the nationalism, so because when you become artist, as a writer, be a writer, you belong to the human being. You are a human, and look at the world, and your mindset should be think as human beings, and also look into yourself. Am I judging them, or how would I have behaved in this situation? That's it.
Okay, one last question. The cameraman will see.
Hi sir, I'm Adityan. I loved your With You Without You film so much. I watched it in the screener during the pandemic, and this film I loved it too. So please be careful with answering this question because it's a bit controversial, I think. So you presented the character of Darshana as first as someone who's empathetic and someone who's who's so far progressive thinking, but I felt from the first itself, she with her husband, she's not that kind of connection with her husband, or she's too much of selfish or naive to say the least, because even she says that he lost the leg, she's like enjoying the nature and everything. So I felt that a dark shade of her was not explored well. I would say, is it intentional or so? I wanted to ask that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry. I'm not bringing the characters of heroes and heroines. Amrita is not a heroine. She's full of contradictions. I see men, women, I mean, they have a lot of contradictions. So, all these contradictions, her contradictions in the film is an intention. In the beginning, she also not concerned. She looks outside the window. Husband doesn't look outside the window, and she mocks the driver, Andrew. Now this is a time to bring Ravana. So it's insensitive. That's where you look at, when you're writing, you look subjectively, but same time be objective. And at the end, she's in a dilemma, whether it was intentional or, because at the police station she says, I don't know what happened. It's true, but at the same time, doubt. So that's a character. So it's not dark. I'm not saying it's dark. It's, I mean, so I end up with the question. She wants to understand, and the man, Andrew doesn't answer. So that means, why doesn't he answer? Because Andrew is a person always say something to please the tourist. He doesn't look like any character. Character in the sense his own point of view, own attitude. At the end, the last line, we can see that he also have an attitude, and he's silent because he saw what happened. So it's intention. Thank you.
Time is up.
Okay, time is up, so we follow the time as strict as possible. 1 o'clock. So, Prasannaji, thank you once again for your wonderful. I'm sure they will be asking because other questions someone has in private. He'll be with us till tomorrow at least noon, and you can talk to him anytime, especially young film students. And thank you once again.
Thank you all.